Hey everybody, I'm Jason with Fuzzlord Effects, and in this video we're going to be talking about the Peavey T60 guitar and some things that I think are really interesting about it. This video is part of the series of videos about doom metal guitars. Now, I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying that you need a certain kind of guitar, or that a Stratocaster or a Telecaster or whatever guitar you have isn't good enough. I just want to take some guitars that I have available and share them with you and talk about some of the common guitars we often see in doom metal music and answer some questions about them so you know more about them at the end of the day. I appreciate you watching, and we're starting right now. Alright everybody, here is a quick look at this Peavey T60. This one has an aluminum neck on it from Electrical Guitar Company, which was something that we see pretty often because Electrical Guitar Company was making aftermarket bolt-on necks specifically made to bolt onto the T60. The T60 is a very unique guitar that has a lot of really special things about it, including electronics, the scale length, and in this video we're just going to talk about some of those things. So whether you're watching on YouTube or you're listening to the podcast show, Fuzz Life, I appreciate your time, and today we're just going to be talking about some interesting things about this guitar. So let's just talk a little bit about the history of the Peavey T60. It was a guitar that was American made from the late 70s to the late 80s by Peavey, and something really interesting about these guitars is that they were some of the first CNC cut bodies and necks. I don't have the stock neck on this guitar, but the point being is that Peavey was really trying to be innovative and make more guitars and keep the price point low. So they started using CNC machines to carve out the bodies and all the pickup cavities and stuff, as well as the neck. Something really interesting about the Peavey company is they actually opened up a new production facility to go into production on these guitars. So because of that, and because they made quite a few of them, and they made them in a way that was very cost effective, we can still find Peavey T60s used online for a very good price. I believe I was just looking at some on reverb.com today, and they were anywhere from $350 to $500. And for a guitar that is built that well, I think that is an incredibly good price for what you get out of it. So that's just a little background history about these guitars. Another famous thing that people know about them is that they are very heavy guitars. Pair that with the aluminum neck that we often see on them. Even though these necks are semi-hollow on the inside, made by Electrical Guitar Company, this is a very heavy guitar, and it weighs in at almost 11 pounds right now. So I weighed my SG. Those are about 7 to 8 pounds on average. Weighed my Les Paul. Those are right about 10 pounds. I believe mine was 10.3. And then this one is just right at about 11 pounds. So for people that don't like a really heavy guitar, this probably would not be your favorite thing in the world. But I kind of grew up playing Les Pauls. It's just what my dad played. And then I started playing my own at 13 years old. So for me, the guitar stayed the same weight and I just got bigger, right? So I actually like the way that this guitar feels. A really cool thing about the Peavey T60 body and the aluminum neck combo is because it's such a heavy body, it actually helps with the balance of the neck and the body so we don't get the neck dive thing. I've been talking to some folks recently, and sometimes when they bolt on the aluminum necks, they'll get the neck dive problem where you let go of your strap and it wants to sink down. This one has a really nice balance to it. So the T60 was designed by Chip Todd at Peavey, and some of the really cool things about it is there's a 25.5-inch scale. So for folks in the doom metal genre that like to down tune their guitars to C standard or A standard, for example, the additional scale length compared to a Les Paul is something that really helps with the string tension without having to go up really large gauge of strings. Currently, I'm running 13 to 60 on this guitar, and it's an A sharp standard, and I just really like the way it plays right now. Some interesting things that are special to this guitar is that the body is made out of ash. The original necks were made out of maple, Again, this has an electrical guitar company aluminum neck on it. We're not going to talk too much about the aluminum neck in this video. However, in the future, I do want to do a full video on aluminum neck guitars in general. The most talked about thing with these Peavey T60 guitars is the electronic setup that is incredibly unique. I find it very admirable what Peavey did because I really think they were trying to think outside the box and provide something new to people and give people a wide array of tonal options. We can notice that the pickups kind of have a unique look to them. I believe the nickname for these was toaster pickups because they look like the top of a toaster. The interesting thing about these pickups is they're 4-wire pickups that we can split the coils on. We've seen a lot of guitars that'll have a switch to turn off one of the coils of the humbucker, which essentially makes it into a single coil pickup. So the reason that a lot of people love these guitars is because you can kind of do a lot of different combinations of coil tapping and have like a single coil in the neck with having a humbucker in the bridge, for example. So this is like the weirdest and most interesting thing about these guitars that I wasn't completely aware of. A lot of people talk about how you're just gonna have so many different tonal combinations. For example, this switch here puts the pickups in or out of phase with each other. So I'm calling that a phase flipper. This one over here is a pickup selector. So to keep it fun, phase flipper, puppy picker is what I'm calling that one. So we got one switch to pick which pickups we're using. Up turns on the neck pickup. Middle is both pickups. Down is just the bridge. And then of course we can put the two pickups in or out of phase with each other with this switch. Here's where the magic of the Peavey T60 comes into play. That's also something kind of weird that I may modify on this guitar. We have a volume control for each pickup, and then we have tone controls. But here's where our coil tapping comes into play. When we have our tone controls all the way up to 10, it makes it so that the pickups are like single coil pickups. It coil taps the humbuckers. When we roll the tone knob from like 10 down to 7, it provides a slight treble cut like a normal tone control. From like 7 to 4, as we keep turning it down, what happens with a very innovative way they wire the electronics is it blends in the second coil and blends it into being a humbucker. From 4 to 0, it's like a normal tone control, and it takes the humbucker and it takes a lot of the treble out of it. Again, one more time, because that's really kind of a weird concept. We have it in the neck position, for example. Volume's all the way up, treble, or the tone control's all the way up. This would now be a single coil pickup. Turn down the tone just a little bit, it'll take off a little high end, and from about 10 to 7. From like 7 to 4, we'll notice it gets a lot fuller sounding because we're blending in the second coil, making it a humbucker. From 4 to 0, it just dumps all the treble to ground, and it sounds like a normal tone control. So that is like the coolest thing about the electronics of this guitar. So why don't you leave me a comment below and let me know what you think about coil tapping and phase reversal switches. Do you like them? Do you find it useful? And what kind of guitar do you have it on? Something really cool to me about this is like we can play like an old Dallas Arbiter fuzz face pedal, for example, that's very sensitive to your guitar's volume control. But often people use single coils when they want that more light overdrive kind of fuzz tones like Jimi Hendrix really liked. So we can go between having a full humbucker through our fuzz pedal, playing like really heavy chords, flip it over to single coil, roll our volume back down to like 5, and then get this like beautiful like light overdrive sound. So it is very versatile with your different effects. So again, just let me know in the comments if you like guitars that have coil tapping or phase reversal switches. Sometimes they can be kind of confusing to use, but they add a lot of really cool tonal possibilities. So while I really admire what they did in this guitar, I do find it a little confusing of how to use the tone controls and like to always get the same sound. I played Gibson Les Pauls for a long time, and I'm just so used to the 2 volume knob, 2 tone control approach. But I'm gonna take advantage of the ideas that Peavey put into place on this. I'm going to add push-pull pots to control the coil tapping, and then a normal tone stack circuit. So that'll be a video coming up soon, and I hope that you all hang out there, and I look forward to making it. All right, so here is one last very interesting thing about the Peavey T60 that really just makes me think that Peavey was really trying to make us a great instrument and trying to be innovative at the time. Instead of just following what everyone else was doing, they tried to do something new and different. So on the back of the guitar, we can see that there's 4 screws to hold the neck in place and this 5th access hole. It's called a micro tilt system. And the point is, it's almost like a shim set into place that we can adjust. So you can loosen up the neck, you can adjust and get a little tilt on the neck to however you need it to sit, and then tighten it back up. So I was just down in my local guitar shop, Stompin' Guitars, and I was talking to my buddy Nate that owns the shop, and we're getting the guitar checked out because I just got this recently, and he didn't quite like the neck angle on it. So I was like, I think there's a missing screw here in the neck, and then it turned out, and he's like, no dude, you can just loosen up the neck, adjust the tilt a little bit, and that's what he did. Put a little back angle on it for me, and the guitar plays really well. So I think that was just such a cool thing I've never seen on other guitars before that maybe you didn't know about the Peavey T60. So that is the Peavey T60 guitar. I really appreciate your time and thank you for watching. And I just wanted people to know a little bit more about some of the unique things about the Peavey T60. Maybe you're out shopping for guitars right now and you're just looking for what you might want to buy. And it turns out that these guitars are very affordable and easy to find. So maybe now you have a better idea of what you might like. So please leave me a comment below, and why don't you just let me know what your dream guitar might be, or perhaps what's your favorite guitar right now. And always, I want to know where you're watching from. Feel free to say hello or give a greeting in whatever language you normally speak, and I will try to use Google Translate and get back to you. It's really interesting to me to know where everyone's watching from. You can keep up with me on a daily at the Instagram page at Fuzzlord Effects. Head on over to the fuzzlordeffects.com website if you'd like to grab one of the new Fuzz Life t-shirts, which is the new podcast we're running. And there's some other t-shirts and stuff like that in the back. So we're gonna wrap up this video. We're going to plug the guitar in. We're gonna play some riffs on it. And here's the deal. On Instagram, I kind of did a shout out on the story and asked people to send me pictures of their guitars, like their favorite guitar rigs they have at home. So we're going to end this video by playing a couple different riffs, maybe showcasing how the tone controls work a little bit. And then we're gonna go split screen and we're gonna flash up some of your guitars. So thank you everyone on Instagram who has been sending me those for this video. So be sure if you see your guitar, comment below and let us know which one was yours. Again, I really appreciate you watching. I'm Jason Johnson from Fuzzlord Effects, and if you like this video, please share it with a friend. If you ever just want to support Fuzzlord Effects and don't have the money to buy a pedal, or it's just like not for you, but you still want to do something cool, it would mean a lot to me if you shared this video with a friend if you thought that it would be helpful to them. Again, this is just an episode in the series about doom metal guitars. I don't want you to think that you need to buy any special guitar. Whatever you have at home, I hope you just play it and enjoy playing music. But I just wanted to talk about some guitars that we often see in the genre. One last thing before I forget. Everybody keeps asking about the Doom Screamer pedal kit on other videos or on the channel in general. And I don't want any of you to think that I've forgotten about you or forgotten about the kit, because that's something I'm really excited about doing. So I know a lot of folks are worried that seems like he's busy doing pedals and videos and podcasts and all this other stuff, but guess what? Here is the prototype of the Doom Screamer pedal. Been working on it here at the shop, been tuning the circuit. Eric Merrill came over to hang out and we played the pedal together and just talked about a bunch of different little tweaks, and then I'd sit there and tweaking the circuit. So don't worry everybody, this is coming soon, and we're actually going to turn this on right now and use it in some of the demos for the guitar, and we might even check out a Fuzzlord FU2 that's going to be available on the website this weekend. If you haven't checked it out yet, it would mean a lot to me if you checked out the Fuzz Life podcast. Again, you can pick up the new shirt in the Fuzzlord Effects store. You can pick up Fuzz Life belly tat at any tattooer in the world. And let's get to playing, and I appreciate you all watching. See you next week.